Pass it over to my co-host James. What else we got?
Well, up next, we've got Dan Campbell stories.
Yeah.
Here, give me a second. Sorry.
No, you good.
Up next, we've got Dan Campbell stories. So, an interesting ESPN article was recently published, and it was telling some interesting Campbell stories that I wanted to share with the audience.
Yeah.
And y'all probably know Dan Campbell as the head coach of the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
He's an exuberant personality. He's definitely got a lot of character.
Oh, yeah.
He's a lot of fun to watch.
Mhm.
In high school and then college and then finally at the Pro Football League, Campbell actually drove the same white single cab Chevrolet truck.
Wow.
And that's always interesting to hear that even after people have made it, that they still drive
Still,
the
yeah.
same dependable vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Kind of a funny story. During a recruiting trip for a prospective A&M player, which is where Campbell played as tight end, they were taking a recruit out to a party, and the recruit had mentioned the strong possibility that he was going to go ahead and just join University of Texas, which is A&M's #1 rival.
Right.
Campbell promptly stopped the truck right there on the side of the road, and he said he has to get out of the truck to the recruit.
Right.
And this was during an out-of-town party, and this was nowhere close to the A&M campus. So he pretty much just left the guy on the side of the road there in Texas.
Wow.
So, maybe leaving a person on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere isn't the best way to show it, but do you think college players should show this kind of loyalty and devotion like Campbell had in College Station?
Definitely. I mean, this is something like, it's all a mindset thing, but this is not something you don't really see. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people follow the crowds, and you know what I mean? But when you're locked in like that, man, you have a purpose. I feel like at times I was kind of like that too in college, kind of trying to remove all distractions. Something at that moment told him like, no, you need to, you need to do something different. This is not it. So I'm glad, and it shows he's now head coach for National Football League of the Lions, and man, they had a heck of a season.
Yeah, Campbell is also a fan of heavy metal music, and he went to college with NFL punter Shane Leckler, and they were college teammates, and he remembers them both pulling an all-nighter and then getting absolutely no sleep, but still driving out to a Metallica concert in Conroe.
Right.
Leckler said that he was miserable, but Campbell was enjoying every second of it, and he was also surprised that Campbell was able to get such wonderful tickets because they were right there in the front.
Gotcha.
So does it come as a surprise to hear someone with such an intense personality as a fan of an intense genre of music in heavy metal?
No, I don't think it's a surprise. Like I said, his personality kind of already shows he's just outgoing. He's outgoing. He's really passionate. About football. You can kind of tell. I seen one of his locker room talks, man, and he was all in it.
I definitely agree about that passion, and he had mentioned, he said one of these bands that's just they reinvent themselves, right? They never get stale, they never get old, and they adapt and adjust and keep putting out hits. I love that, and I respect that.
And I think he kind of applies that to the game. I feel like he kind of used some of those for his team.
Yeah, that to get to head coach of Detroit the way that he has, and take them to the NFC Championship game. It sounds like he's been, adapting and adjusting, and he keeps putting out hits himself.
So, yeah.
Metallica came to Detroit this last season for a concert at the Lions' own home, Ford Field, and Campbell regrettably had to miss the show, but it didn't stop the band from honoring the coach on their Twitter post to X, including a photo with James Hetfield, who's the frontman for the band.
Yeah.
And he had his hand on the office door handle, and the quote was, "Wish you were here, Coach. Too bad the NFL didn't give you the bye week we asked for." Shouldn't the NFL have at least given the Lions, or at least the Lions should have given Campbell the time off?
I guess and no, but the reason I say no is probably because they probably weren't going to be more as locked in if he wasn't there. You know what I mean?
I think it's a question of commitment. Are you more committed
to that,
or the Lions?
Yeah, and I think he chose the Lions. And I mean, it's a good thing he did. Even though that last game, I feel like it wasn't all his fault, but I would feel like him and not that field goal, not kicking that field goal was kind of it's a gamble.
Yeah, missing his favorite band when they're right there playing on his team's home field must have been pretty difficult.
Oh yeah,
But coaching is always time consuming.
yeah.
Do you think this shows what it takes to be an NFL, head
NFL
coach?
coach,
Sacrifices?
sacrifices. It's a lot of commitment. You're basically wiping most of your personal life and dedicated to a team, which I feel like most coaches do if they have that football passion, and that history. So, yeah.
Yeah, devotion to the team has manifested in various forms throughout his playing career.
Mhm.
One time with the Dallas Cowboys, he put together a barbecue for teammates just so they could hang out. And the former Cowboys quarterback, Drew Bledsoe, said he was an awesome teammate, and Danny was one of those guys who was a heck of a player, obviously.
Yeah.
But his impact as a teammate was a lot more from Monday to Saturday than it was on Sunday. And even looking back from his time with the New Orleans Saints in 2009, that was their Super Bowl champion season. Campbell is also a Super Bowl winner. He's considered one, although the team never got him a ring. How motivated do you think he is to win a ring with the Lions?
I think he's really motivated. And like I said, a lot of people are saying, oh, well, next season, this their last season, but I don't really agree with that. I feel like they can, just like they made it this year, they can do something next year too. Well, this year too. So.
Yeah, Campbell's Lions had recently lost the NFC Championship to the 49ers.
Yeah.
And, maybe if the Lions had won the first seed, they could have had a home game and won that game easily.
Right. And, I knew it was too good to be true because, like I said, they were 24-7 in the first half. And, where, like we already talked, I told you, defense wins championships. You have to play all the way. You know what I mean? And I feel like those little minor mistakes can change the game. You know what I mean? So him not kicking that field goal, I guess he was kind of thinking, man, we're up all these points. It's not gonna. But no, it is. It is. So
it ended up allowing the 49ers to have one of the best comebacks in NFL
in
playoff
history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going over some of the postseason and some of the season stuff, there was the Dallas Cowboys debacle with the extra point, which we had covered.
Yes.
And then later the playoff collapse. Should Campbell have just kicked those few field goals when he had the chance?
Definitely.
In Dallas and, in the playoffs there?
That's kind of, you know what? Now I see how that affects that team. You know what I mean?
That game against the Cowboys cost the Lions the
game,
seed.
right? They could, if they would have kicked that field goal, they could have won that game.
Bye week in the playoffs, home field
right.
advantage,
Man, that's crazy. But yeah, that just goes to show those little mistakes count. And then, this is a Super Bowl, chance to the Super Bowl, so you have to be on it.
Yeah, after the game, Campbell had said there's probably never going to be a chance for the Lions to be in that position again. He said that this was their chance. Do you believe that Campbell will keep the Lions competitive in the NFC for the next few years?
I will hope so. And, I don't like the way he's talking, but like I said, I think so. Because he's a pretty good coach. I mean, he's got them with not even just getting them there, a nice little record, too. And the fact that, but they had to realize that's the 49ers. You know what I mean? That's not no regular Browns team or something like that. No, like, if you let your guard down, they're coming. So... shout out to Purdy, man. He's been snapping.
Yeah, we're going to see how the 49ers do in the Super Bowl coming up. Yeah. And speaking of the Super Bowl, we've got a J&J Sports Super Bowl preview for everybody.
Yeah.
Just to announce that
J&J Sports coming to y'all with more in 2024.